Hello everyone and welcome to the next lecture. And in today's lecture we are going to discuss about the Indus water basin system, and this is going to be the last lecture for our first chapter. So let's look into the little bit history or background of Indus Basin Irrigation System. Actually, I have attached here an image or map of Pakistan, which is showing the network of the Indus Basin Irrigation System. Okay, so here in this map you can notice that the rivers have been shown by blue color in the map, and green color are showing reservoirs, and red color are showing the barrages which are lying on the Indus Basin Irrigation System. Okay, so as we know that Pakistan is a country of beautiful landscapes and offers a combination of beaches, mountains, beautiful deserts and valleys, right? So its vast farmlands are sustained by the Indus Basin Irrigation System. Most of the farmlands existing in this country are sustained by the IBIS, Indus Basin Irrigation System, which we call IBIS. In short, we call it IBIS, in the Indus Basin Irrigation System. Okay, so this Indus Basin Irrigation System irrigates around 45 million acres of land. So you can imagine that how big is this irrigation system. And these land farms include the production of crops like wheat, right, rice and different fruits, vegetables, and then it also includes maize, cotton, different vegetables, and all these are in abundance for local use as well as for export too. So it is showing that how much an irrigation system, proper irrigation system, is required and important for countries like Pakistan. So let's look into the historic background of Indus Basin Water Treaty. What is the history of this irrigation system? History or background? So what is the history or background of IBIS? So the Indus Valley has been the host to one of the most ancient civilizations of human history. As we know that the Indus Valley civilization, after the extinction of Indus civilization, new settlements have been grown up slowly. After the Indus civilization, what happened? The population started to increase. Population started growing. Okay, and new irrigation systems started to evolve because of population increase. What happened? New irrigation systems started to evolve. So new irrigation system started to evolve. After that, the canals and small dams were constructed and population grew according to this area. In order to reduce the occurrence of low irrigation water supply, at that time there was the authority of the British, right? So what did the British authorities did? In order to reduce the occurrence of the low irrigation water supply, the British authorities towards the middle of last century started modernizing and expanding the irrigation system of Indus Basin. So because of this growing population and new irrigation system, what did the British authorities did? British authorities started to modernize the irrigation system on Indus Basin. So right now here we are discussing about the subcontinent. At that time, Pakistan and India were not separate, right? So after that, in 1947, the Indian subcontinent was divided into two different countries, Pakistan and India, by the British government, and it has been divided into two independent states. So after partition, a commission was set up to resolve any sort of issues that may emerge as consequence of the partition, right? So they have, after 1947, when Pakistan and India have been separated as two different nations, Pakistan and India, what did the British government did? They make a commission, right? The purpose of this commission is to resolve any sort of conflicts or issues which will happen after the partition. So the matter of utilization of water resources was a big issue after the partition of these two countries. So the matter of utilization of water resources of Indus Basin was raised by Pakistan. The boundary commission was actually chaired by a British representative at that time known as Sir Lionel Redcliffe, right? You may get this question in any sort of MCQs maybe. So this commission was chaired by Sir Lionel Redcliffe and awarded control of barrages. By this commission, the control of barrages was given to India by this commission. However, we know that the 90% of land in Pakistan was cultivable, and 90% of aggregated land lays in Pakistani region. So after negotiation of 10 years, actually Pakistan, through the facilitation of World Bank, the Indus Basin Treaty was signed between India and Pakistan. So Pakistan didn't accept this, that the whole control of barrages was given to India. So after the struggle of 10 years, with the facilitation of the World Bank, a treaty was signed between Pakistan and India in 1960, which we called Indus Basin Water Treaty System. Indus Basin Water Treaty, and it was signed between Pakistan and India. So this was a bit of history or background. And what are the water resources that lie on the Indus Basin Irrigation System? What are the water abilities of Indus Basin Irrigation System? Actually, there are three main sources of water availability in Indus Basin. On the Indus Basin, they are first one is the first main source is rivers. Second main source is rainwater, and third main source of water on the Indus Basin Irrigation System is groundwater. So these are the three main sources that lie on the Indus Basin water system. So the source of river, the average annual flow of western rivers of Indus Basin is approximately 142 million acre feet. About 104 million acre feet of this water is diverted for irrigation purpose. So from the western rivers we usually get around 142 million acre feet of water, and out of this 104 million acre feet water is diverted for irrigation. This is used for irrigation, and about 35 million acre feet outflow to the Arabian Sea, and the remaining around 35 million acre feet water is being outflowed to the Arabian Sea. So you can see the importance of river water in the Indus Basin Irrigation System. The second source of water on this irrigation system is rainwater, and irrigation area of Indus Basin receives on average, and the irrigation area which lies on the Indus Basin usually receives 40 million acre feet of water annually. From this source, from rainwater. And the third source is groundwater. From groundwater, it approximately provides around 40% of crop water requirements of Pakistan. So these are the water sources available on the Indus Basin Irrigation System. And the next point we need to discuss is what are the challenges we face in Indus Basin Irrigation System. What can be the challenges? For any, as we know that for any sort of sustainable irrigation system, and if your irrigation system is dependent on rivers water supply, it is necessary to have a proper system of disposal of the water, right? there should be a proper system for the disposal. However, when the British engineers designed and constructed the barrages and canals in Punjab and Sindh region of Pakistan, they actually didn't install any effluent disposal system. So this lack of an effluent disposal system gave rise to two problems which were waterlogging and salinity. So the most or the biggest challenge on this Indus Basin irrigation system was that there was not proper system for the effluent disposal. So effluent disposal system should be proper for any irrigation system. So this was the main issue. What actually happens because of this problem? If there is no proper system for the effluent disposal, then two main problems can happen: waterlogging and second is salinity. So these two problems can happen if your irrigation system doesn't have any proper effluent disposal system. But this problem is currently being addressed through construction of a network of disposal drains, many of which have been completed and more are under execution. So government of Pakistan is working on this to improve the network, and they are constructing different networks of disposal drains, and most of them have been completed and a few of them are under execution. So these are the challenges which were there on the Indus Basin irrigation system. And what is the economic impact of this irrigation system, impact of IBIS in the Indus Basin irrigation system? As we know that the agriculture products, in addition to providing food security, actually agriculture, you know that it provides food, but other than that it also contributes to the 20%, around 20% of GDP of Pakistan, and also 70% of our total export earnings, and it also contributes 54% of our employment of labor forces is dependent on your agriculture sector. So you can notice that the Indus Basin irrigation system has a huge impact on the economy. So the overwhelming majority of its produce comes from areas irrigated in the Indus Basin. So the Indus Basin irrigation system is therefore essential in sustaining the agriculture and consequently economic well-being of Pakistan. So it shows its importance and its economic impact in our country. And the next point and the last point we are going to discuss for this topic is what are the current problems and what are the recommendation recommendations or solutions for these problems. So farmers in Pakistan receive their share of irrigation water on a rational basis, right? To protect the rights of share of their water, the farmers are using more than the optimum quantity of water required for healthy crops. So lack of modern irrigation techniques and agriculture practices further add to the wastage of irrigation water. Some solutions outlined, we will show them one by one. So the main reason or main problem is what? The main problem is that the lack of usage of modern techniques for irrigation, or you can say that for agriculture. And what are going to be the solutions to these issues? The solutions may be it can be improved. We can improve them by increasing plantation of trees, especially fruit trees. Okay, and then other is that we may overcome this problem by expanding the forest areas. This is another point. And all the existing dams, small and large, should be used for fish breeding and harvesting. So another advantage we can take from this is that we should breed different fishes, different type of fishes in all small or large dams. This can be another solution to overcome these problems. And we need to develop agriculture based industries. And timber factories in rural areas to provide employment to the small farmers. And group up the small farmers into large units for cooperative farming using latest irrigation and farming techniques. Another important and the best point is that we should make groups of small farmers and make them into units for cooperative farming. So this will make them to use the latest technologies, latest techniques for farming and agriculture purposes. So I think that's it. We have discussed the importance of Indus Basin Irrigation System. We have discussed the historic background of irrigation, Indus Basin Irrigation System, and we have discussed the history of the treaty between Pakistan and India, and what are the water abilities of
Indus Basin Irrigation System, and then we have discussed the challenges which Pakistan is facing in the Indus Basin Irrigation System and what they have provided to address these problems. And then we have looked into the economic impact of the Indus Basin Irrigation System, and then at the end we have discussed the current problems which we are facing on this irrigation system, and we have finished this lecture with some recommendations. So that's the end of this lecture. This was the fourth lecture for the chapter 1, right? And now our chapter number 1 is completed, and in the next lecture we are going to start our next new chapter, which is related to the design of irrigation canals. So see you guys in next video with our new chapter. Till then, goodbye, take care.